Good morning. This is Barbie from Jeannie's Designs. And I thought today what I would do, I get a lot of questions about the tools that I use. So I thought today I would just go over the tools that I started with and then the tools that I have added as I've gone along. And I got all my tools together and I was pretty shocked at how many tools I have right now. But keep in mind, I've been sewing for 20 plus years. Um, so you accumulate things over time. So as I go through each category, I will talk about what things I started with and probably the essentials, because not everything I'm going to show you today is an essential. Is it helpful? Sure. Yeah. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the rulers that I have. Rulers and kind of templates. This is probably not a ruler, but it is a template. This is an easy cut circular kind of a template. This is not an essential tool. I think in one of my recent videos I use a coffee mug instead of this. So this is from Sharon Holtgren at Easy Quilting. Do I use it? Occasionally. Do I use it every day? No. But it is nice because it has 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, 5, up to 10-inch semicircles that you can make into a full circle, and it gives you the fold line. So it is helpful, but I don't use it every day, so it would not be considered an essential. And then I have a variety of, these are all, most of these are Omni-Grip rulers. This is a 9x3. I do use this every day. Is it essential? No. It is essential to have one good ruler that you use for cutting things out, for measuring, etc. But so I do use this every day. This is a 5x5 Omni-Grip. Do I use this every day? No. Is it essential? Probably not. I'm going to put things back as I go over them because my table's getting kind of crazy. And then I have a 4x14 Omni-Grip ruler. I do use this every day. Again, is it absolutely essential as a beginner? No. Like I said, have one good ruler. And I'll probably show you the one that I think is probably the best to start with. So this is a 4x14. I do use that every single day. And then this is a 6x12. Again, I don't use this every day, but if I was going to have 1 or 2 rulers, I'd probably have one of these. 6x12, and this is an Omni-Grip. Again, not crazy essential, but if I was going to have 2 rulers, I'd have this and one other, which I'll show you here in a second. This is a 8x, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8x6. This is, I think I got this at Sew Whatever. Mormino, actually, Lauren Mormino, Mormino.com. So this is, what did I say? 8x6. Do I use this every day? No, but I do use it. So it could be one of those that you add down the road to your collection. And then this is an 8.5x8.5. If you're a quilter, this is probably critical to have. Some of your square ones as a quilter are probably very helpful. As a bag maker, I don't use this very often, occasionally, but not very often. This for cutting things out, I've had this 5x24 ruler, oh my gosh, for 15 years. I use this every day when I'm cutting things out. I did add these little grip stickers because way back when I bought it, I bought the ruler, they didn't make any Omni grips that have the gripping technology on them. but I still use this every day. In fact, I have 2 of these. The nice thing about this one, it has that lip. It's a lip edge, and it attaches to the cutting mat. So I do use that every day. This is a new ruler that I have. This is also from Lauren Mormino. It is an 8 by 24, and I have really started to use this all the time. I did get it at So Magical in Florida in November. It's great for cutting 2 straps out because it's 8 inches and most straps are 4 inches, so you can cut 2 at a time. But I have started using it all the time now because it does have some gripping technology on the back. And as far as rulers, another one that I do use frequently is just my, I think this is 6 by, actually this is 7 by 1. It's just a little small 7 by 1 inch ruler, and I do use that frequently. So as far as rulers go, the 5 by 24 I use almost every day, and the 8 by 24 I use almost every day. Then if you want something smaller to keep at your sewing machine, I would probably get the 3 by 9 and the 1 by 7 to start with. And then as you use things, you can certainly add rulers, as I have. So these are the ones that I have in here. I have more in my cutting room. So I have some by my sewing machine. They happen to be in 2 different rooms. So if you're lucky enough to have everything in one room, you won't need to have the duplicates. All right, so that's rulers. The next thing I'm going to talk about is cutting tools. I have probably 3 or 4 cutting tools. This is a 24 millimeter Olfa, and then I have a 48 millimeter Olfa. Those are the 2 that I use the most. The reason I don't have more probably is the blades are expensive. And so they make them in different sizes. They make a 24, 48, and then I think it's a 60. But I don't have that one. I just wouldn't use it, and I don't want to have to pay for more blades. Because you have to change, if you do a lot of cutting out, you have to change the blades fairly frequently. So I do have 2 of those, and I use those obviously every day. And then I'm going to talk about scissors. So I have multiples of these little snips. They don't last forever. So I do have, I probably have 3 of these. I have 1 by my Bernina, and I have 2 over here. Let me see. Yeah. I have 2 over here. One of these I got in the Mormina project box. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. So I don't use it very often. I want to save it. But I use this all the time when I'm sewing and cutting threads. I do have at least 1 or 2 of these. Again, I have some over by my Fabricator and some over by my Bernina. And then I have a pair of scissors that they're sharp, and these are Horn of America scissors that I have to sharpen because I use these exclusively for cutting scissors. The cutting zipper tape. And so they do get dull when you cut zipper tape over and over. So I hold those in reserve for that. These are my gingers that are very sharp, and I sharpen them as well. I keep those for cutting fabrics because they're very, very sharp. The other ones that I have these are also Horn of America. These are just the 9-inch. Look how big those babies are. These are very, very sharp, and I reserve these also for cutting fabric. And then I do have a pair. Actually, I won't tell you how many pairs of these I have. Because I inherited some of this stuff from my mom. But these are a pair of gingham scissors. Just to cut things on I don't even know what you talk about. It's just, they cut cotton fabric so it doesn't fray. So I do use those. I don't use them every day, but I do use those. So those are my scissors. And then let's get into other tools. I think I mentioned this yesterday in my video. I do have multiple lighters that I do refill. These I got on Amazon and I just refill them. It just saves money. I mean, you have to pay for the refill, but I don't have to buy these over and over. And I prefer these with the little thumb thing as opposed to a regular lighter. I think it saves on my poor little thumb. So I do use lighters every day. So any old lighter will work, however. The other thing I'm going to show you is my zipper facing overlays. So this I got two from Sew Yours, and they're just different shapes. This is more of a rounded, and this is more of a square, the edges cut off. These are both from Sew Yours. This is an 8-inch, and this is an 8-inch. Then this is just a square one that I actually got from Lauren Momino. It's also an 8-inch. And then you only probably need one of these if you're going to do it. I didn't have these for a very long time. I didn't do zipper overlays for a very long time. So it's up to you whether you want to invest in that. The other thing I just did buy, my husband bought me a Scan and Cut, Brother Scan and Cut for Christmas. So I did just buy a large SVG file that has multiple shapes of zipper overlays. That way I can cut them out on my Brother Scan and Cut, and they're perfect. It cuts the center perfect. I've been sewing for 20 years, and I just got a Brother Scan and Cut. It's not a cheap piece of equipment to have, but I use it frequently, actually. And then I do have these little ID pocket templates. Again, these are great tools. This one is for this way, and this one is for this way. I got these at oaklyroots.com. But again, these are perfect for SVG files to use on your Brother Scan and Cut. So I do have some templates for that as well. All right, the other thing I do have, and I've really started to use this frequently, this is from Jolie Lee Creations. This is a rivet marker. It's got A, B, and C holes. And I use this on my straps now to get both of my straps and where the rivets go on equally. So this is something I've started to use every day. This is something I got from a Heartwood and Hide. It helps put your labels on evenly. So you can put this on and mark all 4 corners. And it's a useful tool as well. All right, so rulers, scissors, and templates for zipper overlays. The next thing is pins and clips. I have a little magnetic pin holder. I don't need pins all over the house, especially when you have dogs. I have large clips. These are very, very large clips. So if you have something that's very thick or multiple layers, you can use these. So I have those. And then I just have a whole basket full of your little Wonder Clips. Those don't last forever. If you watch any of my videos, you've seen them. They break. And then I have another basket full of these just hair clips. And I have 2 kinds, actually. I have the skinny ones, and then I have the double ones. I probably use these the most, although they don't hold things really well. So if you need something held really well in place, the Wonder Clips are much better. So those are my 4 types of clipping or pin tools. Let me get these out of the way. And then I have a roller that I use to roll seams flat. This is actually from Becky Hanna at, I think it's Hanna Tools. I'll link all these things in the description below. But this is really nice. This is not a cheap tool, but she does these handles and they're absolutely gorgeous. You can get much cheaper ones to start out. If money is an issue, get one of these. They're fabulous. This is another tool that I got from Becky Hanna, and this is a 2-in-1. This is a seam ripper on one side, so you just take it out and put it there, and then it's a stiletto on this side. I use this every day. Now, this one in particular is not cheap. They're handcrafted. They're very nice. But I started out and I just used this little stiletto. I think I got this on Amazon. It's by Annie. It wasn't more than $5 or $6. Of course, this was a long time ago, so it's probably more than that now. But those are my 2 stilettos that I use. I use one of these every day, and I usually most this one because it's so pretty. And then a seam ripper. I have multiple seam rippers, but you gotta have a seam ripper. This is a really cheap one. So I've had this probably for 15, 20 years too. I don't know even what you call this, but it is something that I use to cut, like my zipper overlays. I cut down in between. I've used it to cut my credit card slots. Anything that you need a nice straight edge, you can use these. It does, these I think I got these on Amazon. They came 2, and then it also came with extra blades because they do go dull. All right, then marking tools. Let me see. I have just your Soline air erasing marking tool. Comes in handy. I use it all the time. And then I have a leather marking tool, which is gray. This honestly comes in gray, white, and pink. I use the gray the most. And then I have a chalk marking tool. I only started with the Soline air erasing pen, and I've added these 2 as I've gone along. You only need 1. For the most part, you only need 1. So start with 1. And then corner punchers to get your corners out nice. This is actually a very cheap one. I use this a lot, but I have also used this one. It's just got a little ball on the end, if you can see it. And then this one is just another little extra for straight corners to get them straight. This one is pretty good, and I do use it. I have just gone for this one lately. You only need 1 to start with. You don't even need 1 to start with if you can use your fingers, and maybe sometimes people use a knitting tool. I wouldn't use scissors because you're apt to puncture your corners. So I use those fairly frequently. And then a stapler. Stapler is essential. Any old household stapler would do. This one I got off of Amazon. It wasn't very expensive, but this one works really good. I have one over in my sewing room that I'm about to throw away. I've had it for probably 15, 20 years, but they do wear out. This one is a Bosch stapler, and then this is a Bosch staple remover. I just actually got this in the last year. I've been using those old staple removers that you use for paper, and you can use this for paper too, but this is so much easier to get things out of fabric. I used it, I believe, yesterday on my zip and grip tutorial. So some kind of stapler, and then some kind of staple remover. You can also, for staple remover, you can use a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver. So you don't have to have this. This is not very expensive though. So I do use those. And then my hole punch, I started out with this. This is just a Japanese hole punch. It's maybe $7, $8. I got it on Amazon. It comes with several different tips, so replacement tips, which is helpful. And it's really easy to change the tip. You just unscrew that and pull it out. So I started with using that for my rivets and any other holes that I needed. And then I got this on Amazon. This is not very expensive either, but it's a multi-size hole punch. It has 6 different sizes. And you can get replacement beds for this if it gets worn out. Mine's getting kind of worn out, but it works like a charm. So I upgraded from this to this, and I do use this every day. The other thing that I do use, get this. And bring these over. I bought 2 cam presses. I didn't have these for a very long time. It is an investment, primarily because you have to purchase the dies that go with them. So I have one, let me push this down a little bit so you can see. I have one that I use for my rivets, pressing my rivets. I also have the die for my rivet magnetic snaps that I change out. So the dies come with a top and a bottom. One you screw in, the other one just goes in the plate below. So I use this green one for pressing things, my rivets, my magnetic snap, etc. This pink one I just recently got in the last year, and I use this for those places that I can't reach with my hand hole punch. So this is another hole punch. Let me see. There you go. And I leave. Okay, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. But this is my cam snaps press that I leave my hole punch in. So I have 2 of these. I have a green one and a pink one. I use them for different purposes. Definitely not a requirement as a beginner sewer, but if you're going to be a bag maker, having at least one of these to press your rivets and other things. It comes with presses for key fobs, and I'll actually show you what else I use this for. Let me get this one out of the way. They're heavy. And Cam Snaps didn't always have these. This is just, again, a plate that screws in the top, and this one goes on the bottom. But this is very helpful when you are cutting holes for turn locks or flip locks. So how it works is you've got your fabric here, or actually this one doesn't really matter, they're the same. So you've got your piece of fabric here. You put your guide for pressing your turn lock, and you put that on top of your fabric. This one is on top here, and you just press it. And it makes the hole for you. It's very easy rather than hammering your life away. Do I use that every day? No. I don't do turn locks every day, but it is actually useful. It saves a lot of noise. And if you're doing videos, it's probably a good idea not to have the hammering noise. The other thing I got on Amazon was this, and this was not very expensive either. It's just some cutting dies. It comes all together like this, and it's got a variety of shapes. Now, if I had to do this again, I think I'd try and find certain shapes that I could buy separately. It might be more expensive to do that, but I think this was less than $10 actually to buy. So I do use this whenever I'm doing turn locks or flip locks. All right, let me get this out of the way. All right, so another thing that I do use a lot is double-sided tape. I do use double-sided tape, and I use gray tape, just your regular old gray tape. It's very sticky. It protects things. Um, it protects the prongs from magnetic snaps, flip locks, those kinds of things. So it protects your fabric. Then I have, let's see, I have 1/8 inch double-sided tape. I have 1/4 inch double-sided tape. I have 1/2 inch double-sided tape, and I have 1 inch double-sided tape. I'm a little in love with my double-sided tape. If I was starting out, I would, and you wanted to have one piece or one double-sided tape, I'd probably start with either the 1/4 inch or the 1/8 inch. The challenge with double-sided tape, depending on your machine and your needles, is it can gunk up your needles. So you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it on your double-sided tape. But again, I didn't have any double-sided tape when I started out. I used glue, or I used clips or pins. So I didn't have any. But if you wanted to get some to start out, I'd probably get the 1/8 inch. It keeps it out of the seam allowances, and it won't gunk up your machine. So that's the double-sided tape. The other thing that I didn't have when I started out, sorry the noise, was any pattern weights. So I do have 2 sets of pattern weights now. I didn't have them for probably at least 12 or 13 years. But they come in very helpful. These are just really, I think these are 3/4 inch. They might be considered 1 inch. Got these on Amazon. And they come 4 in a pack. So I have 4 of these to hold your pattern in place while you're cutting it. It really does help. Is it essential? Absolutely not. I didn't have them for a very long time. And then I got these. These are just really pretty. Just recently. I can't remember the gal's name, but I'll put it in the description. These are the 2 inch. She makes 3 inch too. And these are obviously a little more because they're gorgeous. But they're not essential. They just aren't. They're nice to have, but they are not essential. All right, one other thing, I should have talked about this with the double-sided tape, is a glue stick. This is just a Soline glue stick, and it really does. If you watch some of my videos on the Purse Pal, I did use this, and it comes with extras. So I do use this. Not every day, but I do use it. Zipper jig. I have 2 zipper jigs. I didn't have one for a very long time. I put my zippers on by hand. However, I saw somebody years ago using one of these similar to this, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would save me so much time. And I got it. My 5 prong broke off, but it works over here. It comes with a 3 and a 5 hole. The 5 works over here just fine, so I still use it. I use this every single day to attach my zipper pulls to my zippers. It saves a great amount of time. I never mastered putting on the zipper pull to my tape by hand. I just struggled with it every time I did it. And it wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. And this I can put on in less than 5 seconds. It's so easy. I do have one of these. This is also a zipper jig. It attaches to your table, and it has that prong. Very, very sharp. You have to be careful. But this works great too. It's just that I don't have a place that I can leave it out. So when I want to use it, I have to get it out and I have to screw it to my table. So I don't use it very often. If I'm going to be doing tons of zippers, I'll get it out and attach it and leave it. But otherwise, I just grab this and use it. So much easier. Okay. What's next? Again, this is a key fob press. I have used this also to press the corners of when at the top of the bag when I'm making the bag and there's too much fabric there. I will use this to press my corners and it works great. I probably use it more for that now than I do for key fobs. But it's got some little rubber protectors on it, so it's not going to hurt your fabric or your key fob. So I use that. I use that probably not every day, but very often, frequently. All right, and then for thread burners, when you're cutting threads, this is one I got on Amazon. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It may be, the battery may actually be out. But that little thing up there gets really, really hot. Yeah, it's not working. Needs a new battery. I probably left it on. But I used that to start out with. I didn't have it for a very long time, but I did get it and I did use it. I did upgrade to the Sailrite thread burner. And this one works, I know, because I use this. Do I use it every day? No. But it is nice to have. So it has a battery, but you turn it on and off, and then you hold this red button. You'll be able to see this one get hot. See how hot that gets? Don't get your fingers near there. And then when you let go, it cools off, but it gets really, really hot. And it burns your threads at the same time. So it cuts them and burns them all in one step. Do I use it every day? No. Should I use it more often? Yes. So there you have it. All right, the other thing that I didn't have to start either is some little holders for, I have multiples of these. I use these to put all my, I'm getting ready to make another bag today. So I pull all my hardware and my labels and I put everything I'm going to need in here. That way it's not rolling all over the place. And then when I get close to the end, if I haven't used something, I'm like, oops, I forgot to use that. And believe me, it does save you a little bit. So when this is empty, you know you're almost done with your project too. So I have multiples of those. I don't have very many. I think I have 3. I don't get patterns cut out and everything too much ahead of time. Some people do. And then I have multiples of these. This is just something I got. My husband got me at Home Depot. It's a Husky. And it is just something that has one clasp, but it has 6 dividers. So this is where I have all my multiple different colors of rivets. It helps because you know when you're getting low on something. Like, I'm not really low on anything. I use, obviously, the most of my silver rivets, and then I have some rainbow, rose gold, gold, and gunmetal. So this is actually a very nice tool. I have multiple of these. I have one for rivets. I have one for magnetic snaps. And then I have a larger one for my plastic snaps. These are just plastic snaps that I got from Cam Snaps. Let me show you the tool. I didn't get that out. But you can get a variety of colors. These are all the colors I have. I don't have every color. I have a lot of the ones I use the most. So purple, black, cream, I probably use the most. And then this is just a little hand press from Cam Snaps. You've probably seen me use it in some of my tutorials. I've used it on the Purse Pal. This is so easy. You don't have to get your big press out. You can just use this for your plastic. This is only good for plastic snaps, by the way. So I use that. I use that pretty frequently. Oops, sorry for all the noise. And then I did buy a little magnetic screwdriver set. This is actually very helpful. I just bought this in the last year as well. Again, Amazon. You can't beat Amazon. We have a big warehouse about 2 miles from here, so we get things like same or next day. It's ridiculous. You pay for it. It's in the cost. But this has multiple tips for it, and then it just goes into this, and it's magnetic. It's very useful. I use it. Do I use it every day? No, but I use it frequently. And then here's my little holder for all my different color magnetic snaps. And then I have another one for, these are really kind of like custom zipper pulls. Like here is a little coffee cup zipper pull. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. And then I have to show you my little baby Groot. Isn't he cute? I've kind of hoarded these. I hate to use them. I think I got these at Zorel. I forget where I got the coffee cup ones. Looks like a Starbucks coffee cup. And then I have some, I only have a few matte black. I don't have tons of those. So I store some of my custom. My silver are over there because I probably use those the most. All right, what else? My bobbin holders. Again, I didn't have these to start with, although these are extremely cheap. I have one of these for my industrial machine bobbins, which are bigger than, actually they're not anymore. They're the same size as my Bernina. So I have 3 of these, actually. But they're not very expensive. Again, I got them on Amazon. Not expensive at all. And then I have a variety of screwdrivers in here. This is a flathead screwdriver to change the feet on my fabricator. This is a scissor sharpener. This is actually a knife sharpener from Pampered Chef, but I use it for my scissors too because it has a little icon here for scissors, so I use it for that too. We use it for knives in the kitchen as well. So those are probably the tools that I use the most. Obviously, you need an iron. I go through probably an iron every year or 2. Although I have a heat press now. It's in the other room, so I really can't show you that. But I use that heat press to press my interfacings, my woven interfacing, my Decaville Light, Decaville Heavy. I use that for almost every interfacing anymore. If it's a small thing or I need to press something while I'm sewing, my iron is in here. And then cutting mats, I have this small cutting mat that you've seen me use by my sewing machine. It's just I think this is a 6x8. Small. And then I have a little larger one. I think it's a 14x18 over there. And then in my fabric room, I have a 36x24. Actually, I have 2 of those. So a 36x24 probably is what you would need to start. They don't last forever, but if you take good care of them and not press hard, they will last years. So the key to not wearing out your self-healing cutting mats is to make sure you have good blades on your rotary cutters. That way you're not having to press too hard. So, and you can wash those off. I occasionally do wash them off with soap and water and let them dry. All right, so I think that is it. Oh, one other thing that I didn't mention when I talk about that glue stick, I do have some 3-in-1 glue. This actually comes in pretty handy too. I use it mostly on my purse pal and things that you need to glue. Glue it's just kind of messy. So I much prefer, if I can get away with it, to use my double-sided tape. But I do use this. You can see how much I've used it. It's about more than half gone. So those are probably the basic tools. Again, let me just talk about the essentials. You'll need a seam ripper. You'll need some kind of a rivet press if you're going to make bags. Start with something simple, really simple like this. Either you do your zipper pulls by hand or get a little zipper jig. You'll need a 36 by 24 cutting mat. You'll need a some type of a rotary cutter. You will need a good pair of scissors, a regular pair of scissors, and then a pair of snips to cut your threads. Again, not essential to have this. You could use one pair of scissors to do everything. Some type of a marking tool. This is an air erasing marking tool, just one of these. One kind of double-sided tape, 1/8 inch would be perfect. Some kind of pins or clips. You certainly don't need to have both of these. One of these would do. Wonder clips are cheap, and so are these. I call them hair clips. These are cheap too. I rarely use pins anymore. I almost always use one of my clips. And then if you're going to do bag making, some kind of rivet press, whether it be a cam press or they have little, I don't even have them anymore. They might be over there, but a hand tool to press your rivets. You can get that. That's cheap too. On Amazon, you can get something like this that has a wide variety of rivets, and it comes with the press. So you could do that. Stilettos aren't necessary when you're beginning. One of these rippers, I don't know why I can't think of what these are called, but this isn't essential. You can just use your scissors. Your corner pressing tools aren't essential, but this is like, I think this was like $2 or $3. You can get most all of this at Joann's too. Wait until they have a good sale where they have 20% off everything. Or use your, over time, use your 40, 50, 60% off coupons and get things over time. Like I said, I didn't have 3/4 of this when I started, and I did just fine. You'll find if you're going to stick with it that you're going to want to add some of these things as you go along. So I think I've talked enough about the tools that I use. A good ruler, a 36 by 24 ruler to start is perfect. And then maybe one small one. They're not really very expensive. The small ones aren't expensive either. So that's all you have. So I will do my best to link things in the description of everything I have talked about. Some of the things are easy Google searches to find. Home Depot is a great resource for little holders of multiple kinds, actually. My husband, whenever he goes, I say, hey, will you get me another one of these? Okay. So I hope this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments. Please click subscribe and like, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.